Biddy, you ought to be home with your family.
Is she all right?
She's fine.
Is that my baby?
I've been telling him for years, you gotta figure out what you want to do with Mom when the time comes, because we all know how this thing works.
Hollywood hasn't dealt that much with Alzheimer's on film. We've seen different things on television and different treatments of it in documentaries and things. But other than movies like Still Alice and Away from Her, we haven't seen that many big screen treatments of this subject. Now we have a new one, and it's well worth seeing. I was sobbing in this movie, but I don't want you to think it's a total downer. What they had, which is the first time director and writer Elizabeth Chomko taking from her own experience with her own family and turning it into a work of fiction here, is so impressive. But it's also got real moments of humor in it.
Oh, what's the matter?
She hit on me.
Who?
Not Emma.
Mom?
Yeah. Yeah, she put her hand on my knee and she was looking at me like she hit on me.
What'd you do?
I just kept calling her Mom. I said, thanks, Mom. It's nice to see you too, Mom. I'm really glad you birthed me, Mom. You're laughing. Don't laugh.
The matriarch of the family, played by Blythe Danner, she plays Ruth. She basically can get up in the middle of the night in Chicago, where this film is set and was filmed, in the middle of the winter in a nightgown and start wandering the streets. And then, you know, her husband, Bert, played beautifully by Robert Forster, discovers this, panics, and goes and gets her miraculously. Nothing really happens to her in these jaunts, but clearly she's losing her memory and who she is and where she should be at any given time. It's that scary moment in a life here with somebody that is afflicted with this horrible disease, that they start to lose their mental capacities and the toll on the family that it takes. That's what they had is about, but it's also about every member of this family and what they go through. Forster's character, Bert, is in a complete state of denial about his wife. He thinks that, you know, what they've had in all their decades of marriage still continues despite these lapses, and sometimes she doesn't really even know who he is. Then there are the two growing kids. There's Michael Shannon, who's always stayed behind at home in Chicago. He owns a bar, he has a girlfriend, but he's never really committed to her in any big way. He's frustrated by the fact that his parents are getting older and can't really exist on the level that they have in the past, so he comes up having toured facilities of the memory center that can help his mother, and also has in-house living facilities where his father can move in and be close to her. Well, this is something Bert, the father, fights at every turn. But when this gets serious, the growing daughter, played by Hilary Swank, Bridget, comes from California, where she's moved back to Chicago to deal with all of this, and Nicky tries to enlist her in his plan to get the parents to move into this memory center. Well, she's a little less convincing of that. She also always falls under the spell of her father, so she's not as much help here.
I am a father, a husband, a Catholic. I know it because I am it. I never had to think about it. But there is no reason to be unhappy with a perfectly good marriage.
I don't have what you have.
The lives are not going the way they had hoped right now, and this movie dives right into the middle of all of this family drama here, mixes it with humor, mixes it most importantly with real life. I felt I knew these people, and I think that many people will relate to this movie. They probably have something going on in their life that touches on this stuff that what they had is about as well. It's an enormously moving movie and an important movie, and one here set at the holiday time, around Christmas time. It is the perfect film for discerning adult audiences looking for something smart and touching to see. I say, go.